Alright, so you're going to take your piece of paper and do like you did before. You're just going to fold it to the three circles you see there. And make sure not to fold it over those circles. So kind of, you can see it. Let's see if I can change the colors. So I'm only folding it to about to the circles. So I can still see the circles. Does that make sense? My finger is still there, right? You can see it. And then you can turn it sideways. So again, you're not folding it completely over it. Don't do that. You can still see the holes. Let's go ahead and write forms of quadratics. Forms of quadratics. And then what was one of the forms that we just learned? Standard. So let's write standard form. But how many forms do we have? 3. Okay, so I'm going to turn this. And then I'm just going to divide those in thirds. So maybe between the two dots. Just draw a line. So first one, standard form. Cost of standard form, how many parentheses? What is standard form? Alright, what's another form you learned about? Factor. Let's write that. Factored form. Okay, question. Does factored form have any parentheses?
Yes.
How many?
2.
Okay. Leave some space. We're going to actually write the equation out. So the formula is, you can put y equals in front of this one too. These are equations. A parentheses x minus p x minus q. So factored form has 2 sets of parentheses. The hard part about factored form is that the formula has to have this minus sign. And the last one is? Vertex form. Let's write it. How many parentheses does vertex form have? 1. Y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So those are our 3 forms. On the inside, I'm going to need 4 columns. So this line that's dotted is the one you just was the folded line. Draw a line over here. You guys will get your quizzes back tomorrow. Some of you guys need to work on your penmanship. Penmanship is neatness. Why does neatness count? If I cannot read what you're writing, then your communication's wrong. Axis of symmetry. Vertex. Miscellaneous or random stuff. Class, what does that stand for? Just like random stuff, right? Like, you know, in your desk at home, like you have a bunch of junk, you just kind of shove it into a box. And then this one's graph. And then based on those 3 lines from the front that you drew, you can go ahead and draw those across. So again, these lines that I'm drawing are from the lines from the front. So eventually then, just like we did before, you can just open this up and cut it, and you have these open tabs. Let's go ahead and draw some graphs. There's some good news and bad news about your foldable. What do you guys want to hear first? The bad news is on a quiz or a test, you can only have 1 page of formulas. How many pages? Can't take your whole notebook. And now time for the good news is, if you wanted to use this on your next quiz or test, you could, because this is like 1 page. But you can't use the other pages that you've created. Or you're the better student, you can just take this information and just transfer it to your formula sheet. I don't know. We can put an example, but then we'll make it obsolete, right? Okay, what is the equation for the axis of symmetry for the standard form? Maybe you didn't know this. This is the front part of the quadratic formula. X equals negative b over 2a. The vertex is an ordered pair, so I want you to write x, y. And to get the x value, you're going to make an equation, negative b over 2a, which we just got from this one. And then you actually put that into your function, and you get an output. So this is function notation. I want to show you guys a little, I don't know, I call it a trick. Vertex ends with x. It helps you find the x value. X equals negative b over 2a. Alright, so we're on standard form. We just finished the axis of symmetry, the vertex. Now let's go to miscellaneous. Standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. So the big idea for the standard form is this c. Let's underline that. Because your y-intercept is 0, comma, c. What does that mean? When you make your x value 0, you get to find a y value, and this y value is your y-intercept. So now I'm going to take a different color pen. I'm going to draw a parabola. So we draw it down here. And let's just say my parabola looks something like this. Everyone say curved? Should not be a V, that would be bad. Well, that y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. This is the y-axis right here, and this is your y-intercept. So that is the advantage of standard form. Now, one thing we need to draw is also at your lowest point of your skateboard ramp is something called the vertex. Everyone say vertex. The dotted line is called the axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry. This is my vertex. And the yellow one there is the y-intercept. Y-intercept. It's where it crosses the y-axis. So that is the standard form. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish up here. We just finished the standard form. Press pause and record that if you need to. Let's go ahead and move on to the factored form. And in the factored form, get myself situated here. Your axis of symmetry is going to be x equals the h value. And you can put a little star here. The h is the opposite sign in the equation. What does that mean? If you flip back, whoops, that was the wrong one. This is supposed to be down here. X h. H is the opposite. It's supposed to be down there. Sign in the equation. So a common mistake here is to think that the hard part in this formula is that this always has to have a minus sign, so the h value is just like this. Let's finish vertex form. Vertex form has the vertex h, comma, k. And I'm going to put x and y above it. It's just an order pair. Again, be careful about the h value. The h is the opposite sign in the equation. Miscellaneous? Nothing. Let's go ahead and draw a graph, which we did here. And then if you just draw some kind of dotted line, let's draw a dotted line here. This dotted line here, just like the other one, is the AOS, the axis of symmetry. This is where your parabola folds in half. Let's put one on there. And then from here it's left 2, down 4, right 2, 4. And then the graph's going to look something like this. And right here we have the vertex. And that is the order pair HK. H, comma, K. And again, I want to show you a visual of what the axis of symmetry is like. Here I have a mirror. Let's see if we can get it on there. And there it is. It is reflecting what the other side is like, right? Okay. Last one is the factored form. How do you know it's factored form? It has 2 sets of parentheses. So let's go right there. And the axis of symmetry is, let's see if we can kind of fix that. It is P plus Q. So let's make this a P. You can use your art skills, just make it thicker. There you go. Plus Q divided by 2. P plus Q divided by 2. And just change that to say P and Q are the opposite sign in the equation. So again, this is hard for students. Is that the P and Q value, if I cover it up, there's a minus sign in the formula. So it is your P and your Q. When it says the opposite of that, normally you guys think of the negative sign there. So if you have like -3, then your P value is actually just P value is just 3. So the axis of symmetry is x equals P plus Q divided by 2. P and Q are the opposite signs in the equations. Let's go over here. How do you find the vertex? The vertex is going to be the x value. Let's put an x, comma, y. The x value is going to be P plus Q divided by 2. And then whatever you get for this x value, if you put into this function notation, basically just means plug it into the equation again. You'll get a y value. Your output is your answer, and that would be an order pair x, comma, y. Now, what is the point of finding the factored form? Factored form helps us find the x-intercept. X-intercept, where it crosses the x-axis. And those order pairs are going to be P, comma, 0, and Q, comma, 0. So if I go over here and just graph a simple graph, let's just get a quick graph on here. So say we do the axis of symmetry here, my AOS, and let's just say we have something like looks like this. Goes 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 4, 2, 4. Let's say this is my graph here. And notice this is my vertex, but the big idea is that the x-intercept of the p and the q's are right there. So this is the vertex. Again, the big idea is the highlighted colors I'm showing you. Is that the factor form helps you find the x-intercepts, the standard form helps you find the y-intercept, the vertex form, let's highlight this one, we didn't. The HK helps us find the vertex fastest. And something we didn't really point out, but remember, we already know about concavity, is that they all have an A value, and that tells you whether the graph opens up if it's positive, or negative if it's negative. That's a negative if it's opening down. And that's your foldable.